I like to define widgets in two categories, like there are two kinds of widgets uh, that can be visible and invisible. As you can see, the invisible ones are the structural widget, and they are used to organize positions or define the structure of a list of widgets. And the second category is input output, like that is used to input the values or shows the output, and they are usually visible to the user. And the first category is column, row, stack, and list view. These all are defined to structure, like column structures the list in vertical order, row for horizontal, stack. With stack, you need to define the positions, and list view contains a list of same item. Widgets can be button, text field, text, and list item. And please remember that there's a third category called container. Container can be visible and invisible, like you can hold various things in container and manage the margins, or it can be visible by adding the background colors and the shapes. So it can be in both categories. We are going to convert the body text and we're going to remove it. And what we're going to do, like we're trying to add text field, and for that, because I want this in vertical form, so I'm going to replace it with column, and column takes as many children as you want. So I'm gonna use text input text field, and here the first field I want to is to be an email field. So I'm gonna choose the keyboard type. So what that keyboard type takes is text input type. So I'm gonna take text input type as email address, and it takes a decoration. In decoration, I can add an input decoration and I can use some label text. So the label text is actually a string. So I'm gonna use email address, and I'm gonna add another field. I'm gonna copy this, and that's gonna be a password field. Text input type. So I do not see any option of a password, so I'm just gonna say okay, it's text. So in order to hide it, there's a property called of secure test, and I'm gonna make it true. By default it must be false, so this will hide the password. And let's try to reload it and see. And while it's running, in the meantime, I'm gonna add two buttons at the bottom. So I'm gonna just copy this. First of all, I'm gonna cut this and replace it with a row, because I want them to be aligned horizontally. And just like column, row takes children, and in the children, I'm gonna paste that, and I'm gonna paste that again, and I'm gonna replace this text with sign up, and I'm gonna replace this with login. You can see that it's running on the app on the phone, and we've added two text fields. One is email address, we're gonna type something, and the other one is password, and you can see like it's just like the password. And at the bottom, because we're putting that in the bottom sheet, we've added a row, and it aligns the objects in horizontal order. Like first we've got the sign up button, then login, and we replace these text fields into columns so it aligns all the widgets in vertical order. And I just want them to be aligned center. So I don't like the row items in on the left side and the column one on the top. So I'm just gonna put them in the center, and for that we're gonna use axis alignment. And in a column we have aligned widgets in a vertical order. So since they are aligned in a vertical order, so the main axis will be from top to bottom or in vertical shape, and from left to right will be considered as the cross axis. And for row, we are placing widgets in a horizontal order, so the main axis will be on the horizontal side and the vertical axis or the cross axis will be on the vertical side. At main axis alignment for column and main axis alignment center, and I'm gonna use same main axis alignment, and I'm gonna place them in center, and I'm gonna run the app. And now you can see that both of them are placed in the center. And let me try to add or to wrap this column into a container. And in container I'm gonna add some margin. So since we've used edge insets all, and all, as you know, all works on both sides, and now we're going to use symmetric because I just want the margin on the vertical side. So on the vertical side I'm going to place the value of 10, and let's try wrapping this into a const and try running it. Oh, so we don't see any kind of margin here. Maybe try adding the padding because margin works outside. So oops, sorry, I use vertical. I was supposed to use horizontal. Yeah, so you can see there's a little bit space, but I don't think that's enough. So let's make it 30. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better now. So yeah, and within container, or I think it's better like if I wrap them into a card, or within container like you can add a background color as well, or you can add some decoration. So I'm gonna add box decoration, and let's try what's in there. So there's a border radius and or shape. Let's see what are the possible options. Box shape dot rectangle, and I'm gonna give it some color. So the color can be colors dot, let's try blue, and let's try running it. You can see that the whole background is blue, and the reason why is because column is taking the full height on the screen. It's even taking the height that's not visible to us, but since like the bottom shade is overlapping that, so we're not seeing the background blue. And I don't like that blue color that much, so I'm gonna change it to gray, let's say. And I just want these corners to be a bit rounded, so I'm gonna add radius. That's a border radius, and it gives me multiple options, and on all sides I want that radius, so I'm gonna, and now it doesn't take a value, it takes an object type called radius. So I'm gonna use radius, and see there's an option of circular, so I'm gonna give 20 as a value. So let's run it, and we can see it's rounded from the top and it's not rounded from the bottom, because as I said, like that bottom sheet, it's overlapping that, so it's not visible to us. So I'm gonna just add some vertical margin to make sure like it's visible, and now you can see that. But still, I do not like it to cover everything. So what I actually want is that to be in the center. Now there's an option, because column takes the full height of the screen. So even if I change the main axis size to main axis size dot minimum, what it's gonna do, like it just takes the size of these two elements, and the center part will not work in that case. As you can see, there's borders and the center part is not working in that case. But I just want it to be really in the center. So let me try putting that container and wrapping that with center and see if it works. Oh yes, it's working. And still, I do not like these margins, and we're gonna take care of it later in the next video. And just want to try another button. So there's another type of button called flat button, so I'm gonna just replace the raise button with a flat button and try running it, and you can see like it's just a flat button with no background. So let me see if I can add color. Yes, I can. So I'm gonna add this, say that color is, let's make it green, and let's try running it, and now you can see it's green color. So I'm trying to use as many different kind of widgets as I can, uh, and if you understand this, like this video, subscribe to my channel and share it to support so I can make more videos. And also, if you have any questions, you can type it in the comments. I'll try to answer it as quickly as I can, and I'm gonna attach the source code in the description of the video, and I hope that will be easy for you. And still, if you find any problem, just